Hey everyone, here we are on Tuesday, looking at recapping the first week of the NFL season. First of all, survivor pools across the country had to take a hit on the opening week. San Francisco loses. The Colts lost to the Jaguars. I mean, come on, those are two of your big locks in that first week. If you didn't have Baltimore or Pittsburgh as one of the heavier favorites, odds are you took a beating in the survivor pools. So I only played in the one this year while in San Francisco, so that's over. To catch up a little bit on the weekend as far as gambling and whatnot goes, we placed a bet on Kansas City in the opening week, which we won. It was like $75 that we won on that. I also placed a bet on Slayton from the Giants to have more than 46 yards receiving, which he did. So that was a good $20 win. I didn't have any other bets, so I had one other bet. I had the Jets to be within 7, which they were not. So we lost that one. And we had our huge $5 16 parlay, which thanks to San Francisco and Indianapolis, that did not pay off. But overall, the other two, the prop bets I made, did pay off, and they were good. They were much more money than what we risked. I'm going to have a little bit of energy because I'm exhausted.
It's the lips of K-Rock.
Thank you. As far as fantasy gambling went, we did not win anything in sports other than football. Actually, that's a lie, isn't it? Yeah. Right on the 13th. So on Sunday, we were in a. Here's what we've entered over the weekend. We entered a Xfinity race. We lost that. That was a $4 entry. We entered a couple of NHL. Let me see. Well, let's see how many. We entered one each day, which we have not won. We didn't win anything. Those were all $5. We entered one baseball each day. Didn't win anything on those. Those were all $3. We entered a regular NASCAR event. Didn't win on that one. We entered the MMA. Did not win on that one, but man, did the guy who played in that poll. I mean, we picked a pretty good card overall. I mean, we picked 4 out of 6 right, and even one of the losers that we had scored 67.5 points. We wound up with 527.5 points. And normally that's good enough for a money finish. We were 67th. The top 55 got paid. Top guy scored 715.5 points. I've never seen a score that high before. I mean, he picked the 12-10-9-8-7-6 fight. Picked all 6 of them correctly. All of them scored at least 100. 3 of them scored more than 120. So that was just an insane bit of scoring. Like I said, we did play in a basketball tournament. It was a $12 single entry on Sunday, and we won that. We won $24 on that one, so we doubled our money there. Did not get the PGA wins. On Sunday proper, we did win one of the. We won one of the Sunday night games. We had a showdown. We did not win the Sunday day games. The full slate. And most of those were the single entries that we had. I mean, the free entries that we had from winning tickets over the last few weeks. So we actually wound up spending $15 that we lost on the NFL full game slate, or full slate, whatever you call it, the full slate. And then Sunday night we were able to have a $15 win to win back some of that money. However, last night it was very exciting for a while there. Looking to win back some of the money, since we were about well, if you add it all up, we had won $17 and we had wound up losing around 70. So we were around 53, call it 55 down. So I entered a heads up tournament, $20 for the Monday night, the 2-game Monday night. We won that one. And we had a very good showing here. I'll show the results in the $10 whatever it was, $1.5 million Monday night special. That was a 176,000 person tournament. 176,000. And we finished 442nd. So out of 176,470, we finished 442nd. We were 16.2 points out of first. We wound up with $78.82 win, which is nice. Our lineup was Roethlisberger, Henry, Gordon, A.J. Brown, who was ultimately the guy that wound up costing us a big win, Slayton, who we know we won money on, Deontay Johnson, not the ideal pick, but not bad. Fant was a great pick for us, especially only being 27.2% owned. Him and Gordon were the two that really got us up there. Juju had a great day. I mean, he was 60% owned, but still, you got to have those guys as well. And then the Titans defense was all right. The person that won this tournament had pretty much this exact same lineup with two exceptions. He had Corey Davis for Tennessee in place of Brown. And he had the Steelers defense, I believe it was. But otherwise, he had the exact same lineup. So those two were and he won solo. So he took that first place. And kudos to him, too, because he only had a single entry. I only had a single entry. I prefer playing single entries whenever I can. Even in the GPPs. Sometimes I'll play multiple lineups. I think I have 2 NBA lineups tonight. But in general, I like playing just one lineup whenever I can. And the guy that won alone in first place, only played one lineup. He won $300,000. So that was a great night for him. But again, we were right there. I mean, basically 400, what was it? 442nd place out of 176,000. You know, that's a good night. That's a good performance there. And we'll stick with it. And see how we can go from there. Yeah, in that same lineup, I don't need to show you the breakdown, but that I used that same lineup against why is that not kicking? Against the heads up, yeah, I entered that in the heads up as well. There we go. So that was good. Those were good. So between that winning the heads up and coming in the 442nd place, that won back our money and then some, and our sportsbook did fine. Our best balls are, first week. One team got decimated with injuries, which is something, there's nothing you can really do to completely avoid that. But the one team that we drafted as Michael Thomas, who knows, Brandon Cooks, James Conner, Jarwin from Dallas, he's done, Ayuk Harris for New England. I mean, all of those guys are either IR or questionable. So that'll be a hard one to bounce back from. The other ones are all mid range. One is in 5th place. But overall we're good with those. We also won 3 of the Rainmaker contests, where I guess the lines that we put in on Sunday beat 3 of the celebrities. So we got 3 free entries to the Rainmaker contest this coming Sunday. So we'll check that when that happened. Quick recap of what we are looking at for tonight. Tonight we just have there's 2 NBA games. There's the 1 NHL game with Tampa Bay looking to close out the Islanders. And I'm switching over to a short slate on the MLB. See how that works. I kind of like the flexibility. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how. I kind of like the flexibility on the short slate, where you're only picking 1 pitcher and 6 position players, 2 infielders, 2 outfielders, and 2 utility. So I kind of like that ability to have that flexibility in your build. At least I think I like it. It won't matter if it doesn't pay off at all. But we'll see where that goes. I have 2 NBA lineups going in for tonight. We have a game 7 on the late one with the Nuggets and the Clippers, and the first game of the Boston-Miami series. And let's see. Here are the 2 lineups that I'm looking at. On the one side, I'm looking at I know that game 7s are usually low scoring in the NBA. The last 8, I think it is, the last 8 NBA game 7s have all gone under the over-under line. But I'm going a little heavier on this lineup with the late game. It's difficult to I think it's difficult to do a really good stack with the Clippers, because once you get past George and Leonard, everything really drops off a cliff. I mean, there's nobody that you can really point to for consistent value beating or crushing potential. So I went with Paul George because it seemed like he was coming on the past couple games. I went with Jokic, who totally crushed it. He was the main reason that we won our showdown game on whatever that was, Sunday. I had him as the captain. He wound up scoring over 100 points, fantasy points. Yeah, so going a little bit heavy on the Denver side with Harris Porter, who is a nightmare on defense, but he can put up points. And they're going to need him. Jokic and Grant. George on the other side. And then going Dragic. Olynyk, who's supposed to be back tonight. And he used to play for Boston. And he tends to play, he's one of those players that seems to play pretty well against his former team. And he's only 3,500. So taking him allows me to get Jokic, George, Dragic, and throw them all in there. So that's the one team that we're going with. The other team for the old basketball tonight is a more middle of the road lineup that I'm looking at. The only two big guys at all, I'm going with Butler and Brown. But this one, I'm leaning more towards playing more the Miami-Boston game. It's got the higher over-under. It's the first game of the series. A better chance of that game going over. So that's my thought right there. Sticking with Dragic. Going with Butler, Brown, Thief, Hero, and Crowder. All from the early game. And then having to save some money with Beverly and Porter again in the later game. Stayed away from Jokic, Leonard, George, Tatum. Stayed away from all of those guys on this one. So no super deep stretch. Not particularly happy with Beverly, but it just seemed to work out too well to pass that up. So those will be my two lineups for the basketball tonight. Fine. And then we will have let's run through the baseball real quick since that's starting in about half an hour. We're going with the short slate, Like I said, we're going to go with the short slate, see how that one works out for us. This is the short slate that we're looking at right here. It's the Pittsburgh, Cincy, Boston, Miami, Washington, Tampa Bay game. I'm going with Sanchez against Tampa Bay. Sanchez pitched against Tampa Bay in his last outing a week ago. And held them scoreless through 5. Only gave up 2 hits. And then they pulled him because he gave up, I don't remember, he gave up 2 hits and hit a guy to start the 6th. And so they yanked him. And then they all came around and scored. And so that all got added to his ERA. But there's no great locked in option here for pitching. So I went with Sanchez. Then I went with a Washington stack. The top 4 guys with Eaton, who saves a ton of money for you. Turner, Soto, and Cabrera, who's great there. And then 2 more kind of money savers. Josh Bell, who has like a 357, I think, something like that, career average against Lorenzen, with a couple extra base hits and a home run. And then Votto, who has a 350 something career average against Musgrove, with a couple extra base hits and a home run. So those two combined with Eaton save enough money to get Soto, Turner, Cabrera's a decent enough money saver, and then you can get Sanchez. So we'll see how that works out. And then lastly, we'll be looking at the NHL, which is a showdown tonight. Tampa Bay's been pretty dominant, even though they lost that one game. I'm picking Tampa Bay to close them out tonight. Points listed day to day. I'll keep an eye on him. He did not finish the last game on Sunday. He took a hit and did not play the last 9 minutes. They were pretty comfortably ahead though, so it could just be precautionary. I will try to keep an eye on that because that's a big play right there. Otherwise, I'm going with Palat as my captain because doing that gives me enough money then to take Kucherov and Point and Vasilevsky and still go with Gord as a secondary scorer for Tampa Bay and a big money saver in Clutterbuck. But this is just a little $5 entry to keep the gambling going. So then to next week, a quick look ahead to next football week. I've got 3 free entries to this Rainmaker contest, so we'll play those 3. I'm sure we'll play a showdown game on Thursday night. We'll play a full draft lineup on Sunday day. And I'll see. I don't think they have everything up yet, but I might look at a prime time matchup similar to what we did with Monday night there, where we played the two Monday night. Let's see, do we have a prime time? Well, they don't have one up yet. They don't have one up yet, but we'll see if they have a Sunday night, Monday night kind of. I'm sure they will, because right now they don't even have what they got. They just got the 13-game slate. They have the Thursday night slate. And then the early only. So they don't even have the late afternoon games or the Sunday night games. So I'm sure they'll have that. We'll probably play all of those. We will have golf starting on Thursday. That's the U.S. Open. That's a big one. We'll definitely be involved in that. We're just gonna go one entry there. We'll take a look at those tomorrow. NASCAR has an event on Thursday, so we'll be looking at a truck. It's a truck event. We'll be looking at something there. There's another MMA event on Saturday. Yeah, NASCAR actually has trucks on Thursday, Xfinity on Friday, Cup Series on Saturday, then MMA Saturday, and then of course the NFL. Let's see. Is there anything? Oh yeah. And then there's also the free. There's also the free picking pools, which again, those are free. But the one that we played in last week was the point spreads, and that did not go fantastically for us because there were a ton of upsets again. Let's see. Yes, there's no. Let's see, they have the. Yeah, they have another week 2, so they'll have the week 2 pick and pull. We'll be taking a look at that. Will they do that for? Yeah, it's just the Sunday games, so we'll be looking at that more on Saturday probably. And what else is there? Let's see. Yeah, we had the Darius Slayton get over 40.5 yards. And then we had the Jets on that +7, which did not pay off. So pretty much broke even there. Let's see, there's an odds boost. Odds boost on the Clippers Nuggets game tonight. 7-1 odds on any player to score the first basket. That's the NFL. Looking ahead, I always like to try to take a look at the upcoming point spreads early in the week since they change. Sometimes you can find something that doesn't make sense to you. Let's see. Right now, Cincinnati is getting 6 points against Cleveland. That seems like too many points. Um, 49ers are giving 7 to the Jets. I don't like anything about that. The Bills are giving 5.5 to the Dolphins. Steelers are giving 7.5 to Denver. The Rams are giving 1.5 to the Eagles. Colts are giving 3 to the Vikings. It's at the Colts, but the way the Colts, I'd be very hesitant there. The Bears are giving 5.5 to the Giants. Titans are giving 9 to the Jaguars. Packers are giving 6 to the Lions. Tampa Bay is giving 9.5 to Carolina. Dallas is getting 5.5 to Atlanta. Arizona is getting 6.5 to the Washington football team. The Ravens are giving 7 to Houston. Chiefs are giving 8.5 to Chargers. Seahawks are giving 4 to the Patriots. That's the Sunday night game. And Monday, the Saints are giving the Raiders 6.5. There's a couple of bets that I like. I like I kind of like the Bengals getting 6. I mean, I know they lost and they bangled it away on themselves there. It's Cleveland's home opener. Cleveland, Cincinnati. You know, I might look at that. Heck, Cincinnati could have off an upset there. Definitely will stay away from the 49ers Jets game. Stay away from the Bills Dolphins. Stay away from the Steelers and Bronco game. Stay away from the Rams Eagles game. Kind of lean towards Minnesota getting the 3. Kind of lean toward the Giants getting the 5.5. Kind of lean towards the Jacksonville Jaguars getting the 9. Kind of lean towards the Panthers getting the 9.5. Kind of lean towards the Falcons getting the 5.5. And Washington getting the 6.5. Stay away from the Ravens Texans. Stay away from the Chiefs Chargers. Stay away from the Patriots Seahawks. Kind of lean towards the Raiders getting the 6.5. But you know, if anything, I might just take a number of them and throw in a small $5 parlay. You know, maybe do a Cincinnati Giants, Jaguars. Washington. Maybe those 4. Take those 4 for $5. Come on, $5. So there you go. For a 14 parlay, looking at the Bengals getting 6, the Giants getting 5, Jaguars getting 9, and the Washington football team getting 6.5. Everything else is going to be getting underway here. Before I go, let me once again, just so I make sure I have a good clip of it. So, to recap, Monday night entered the $1.5 million Monday night special on DraftKings with the 2-game slate. Here is the team that I drafted, which I only drafted one lineup. That's normally what I do. More than happy to help other folks draft their individual lineups and be competitive. Here was the lineup I drafted. This again was a 176,470 entries. We finished 442nd, so the top 500, well into the top 1% of the tournament. We have finished in the top few positions on Thanksgiving Day specials before, where we've brought in a few $1,000s. This was a $78.82 win, which is fine. But again, the key thing is out of 176,470 teams, we finished 442nd. This was with a Roethlisberger, going fairly light on the first game. Roethlisberger, Slayton, Deontay, and Schuster. And then heavier focus on the running backs in the second game. Figure it was going to be a lower scoring. Henry and Gordon, along with Brown, Fant, and the Titans. The A.J. Brown, the reason we got to where we were was because of Fant being only 27.2% owned, and Gordon being only 34.7% owned. Both were good pickups for us. Obviously, you had to have Roethlisberger for that night on quarterbacks. You had to have Juju, and you had to have Slayton. You had those three guys, you had a chance. Brown was the one that cost us. There was that drop. The guy who wound up winning overall did not have A.J. Brown. He instead went with Corey Davis, who had a much bigger game than Brown. We were ultimately about 16 points. 16.2 points out of first place. AJ scored 8.9 points. Corey scored a little over 20. So that's 11 point, almost 12 point difference right there just with that one player. Brown dropped that touchdown pass near the end of the game. That would have moved us up probably into the top 40 position. Having looked at the lineups, probably would have put us up in the top 40. So we'll look to do this again this coming week, probably with a Sunday, Monday primetime lineup. We'll be entering drafts for the 13-game slate on Sunday, the early afternoon slate on Sunday, the late afternoon slate on Sunday, showdown for Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night, and then we'll look into a primetime Sunday, Monday combo. We'll be entering lineups, we'll be drafting lineups, we'll be talking about those lineups for each of those different slates in the days leading up to the contests. Feel free to swing by, drop me an email, drop me something on Twitter. Let me know any questions you might have, and we'll help you be competitive. That's it for the gambling. Let me catch up on a couple of my days in terms of my memories for memories of the year. I have 3 days to catch up on here. Sunday, Monday, and today. First, my memory from Sunday, September 13th. This would be day 69. Since we've been in New York the last 2 days of memories, I'm going to stay in New York City one more day. And this is a memory of getting to hang out at the Loopy Doopy Rooftop Bar at the top of the Conrad Hotel in New York. It was fantastic. It was a great time. There's a bunch of steps to get up to the rooftop bar itself, but they have a wheelchair lift. So Karen and I went up late one afternoon after we had taken. It was again on a business trip, and after all the business was taken care of for the day, late in the afternoon we went up there. Really nice setup. They've got a bunch of different rooms inside that have like different. I don't know how often they change it, but on the day that we were there, they had different atmospheres to each one. One was kind of like a beach layout. The other one was more of like an Arabian kind of, throw blankets and drapes hanging and very shady. Very nice place. Everything very comfortable. Outdoor, nice view, fantastic view of the city. They had really tasty appetizers. A great olive plate where they had a bunch of different olives from different parts of the world. It was delicious. Lots of space, indoor, outdoor. Got pretty crowded, but not, like I said, spacious enough that you didn't feel pressed in on, and you were able to talk, which is not a guarantee in different restaurants in New York. It gets so loud you can't hear across the table. But yeah, there was just something about getting to sit back, relax, had a great martini, platter of olives, and have that kind of view. It was just a great night. So that's a nice simple memory from September 13th. Moving on to September 14th, day 70. A while ago, told you the story about one of the explosions in my past where I was pretty sure I had dimension jumped. Here's another explosion story. This is a story about the opening day of baseball season. I don't remember the exact year. It had to be somewhere around 89, somewhere around there. 89 or 90, maybe 90, I think, maybe closer to 90. Myself, Frank, and our friend Tommy, who I referenced in one of the wrist tournaments, had constructed a explosive to celebrate the start of baseball season. It was a Planters peanut tin can, whatever, that was empty, and we had filled up about halfway with black powder, a few grains, literally a few grains of sodium nitrate, and then we topped it with flash powder. We had previously drilled a little hole in the side of the can so that we could put a long wick that was leading directly into the flash powder. The thought was we'd light the wick, we'd take cover, the wick would burn through into the flash powder. The flash powder would go off and cause like a bright flash, which would then ignite the black powder along with the sodium nitrate. And we had never actually used the sodium nitrate before, which we did not expect. So we light the wick. We're in the playground. There's no one else there. We light the wick in the middle of the playground in a basketball court and go for cover. And the wick burns and goes inside the can, and all we see is this little, like a little puff of minor light and a little white smoke. And Frank goes, "Is that it?" And gets up and takes a step one step towards the peanut can when this concussive blast goes off with such a ferocity that it literally knocked things off of people's shelves around the town. Uh, Little statues fell over on people's shelves. Um, I'm not kidding. Like the the remnants of the peanut can were just like wrapped around the chain link fence. It was amazing. People came out of their houses all around the town where we lived, looking around in confusion and saying things like, you know, what happened? What blew up? Did the power plant go up? Did the power plant blow up? What happened? There was dozens of people talking about what happened. Our friend Gary, who's been mentioned many times, was across the river where he was living at the time, and just he was unloading his car with groceries and dropped all of his groceries because he did not know what had happened when the bomb went off. My sister, Kristen, was in the process of moving to the upstairs apartment of where we grew up. We had grown up and there was a second unit on top of our house. And I guess she had just turned 17, so that would have been, yeah, like 90, like summer of 1990, or early 91. And she was upstairs unpacking stuff with my mom. And one of my favorite parts of the story was that when it goes off, Kristen looks at my mom and says, "Oh my God, what was that?" And my mom, without pausing, my mom just goes, "It was most likely your brother." So that was that's my memory from September 14th. And my last story, to catch things up here, September 15th. This is day 71. And this is the first animal that we wound up hitting in a vehicle. And this was years and years. Karen and I had been super lucky. We'd never hit any animal while we were driving. We hadn't hit any kind of dog or cat or bunny or deer. And there's tons of deers in the area where we grew up, where I grew up, in Pennsylvania. And we were driving all the time from Johnstown to Altoona because the movie theaters in Johnstown sucked. So we would go to Altoona or Pittsburgh. But for the longest time, we would go back and forth from Johnstown to Altoona a couple times a week to go see movies. Plus, they let us to see movies for free. So we would do that. We had driven, out to Massachusetts and back a couple of times, out to Foxwoods. This was before our trips across country. And one day, we're driving from Johnstown to Altoona. And we just get onto Route 22. And where we unfortunately we might have been in our very first animal. And running across 4 lanes of traffic, 4-lane highway, from the far left all the way to us on the far right lane, is essentially a full-grown bear, not a deer, not a dog or a cat, not a rabbit. It's a bear. A bear is startled by a lawnmower starting up on the other side of the highway, jumps up out of a field, and proceeds to run across all 4 lanes, missing cars all the way along the line, jumping over the divider, and pretty much running right into us in front of us. He just about had gotten by. Had just about gotten by. And we were able to slow down because we saw it coming. We were like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. And Karen was on the brakes, not screeching them, but slowing it down.
Stood up.
Yeah, and she's like, stand up, trying not to lock up the brakes. And, we had gotten down to maybe 15, 20 miles per hour. So it wasn't like we were going along at highway speeds. And you could tell it's going to be close. And we just clipped its hind end. And, knocked it off its stride. It rolled over, rolled over several times. I saw it in the rearview mirror. But it immediately, didn't hesitate. It got up and ran off. The people behind us said it looked like it was fine. That it got up right away. It wasn't limping or staggering or anything like that. It seemed fine. But yeah, so that the very first animal we wind up hitting. It's not a small deer or a bunny, nothing like that. No, we hit a full-grown bear. So there you go. That is the catch-up. I'll spread these out into a few different clips and get everything caught up. So that's it for now, everyone. Thanks for listening. Again, swing by, get some help on your NFL teams. Doesn't have to be daily either. I'm in a number of season-long drafts. So, until next time, tomorrow, be safe. Have lots of fun. Gamble on anything that you can gamble on. Gamble on it. And as long as you're not in the same competition as I am, then good luck. Bye all.